Chairman, we're live.
Okay, welcome everybody online and those in the audience. Today is Monday, December 4th. This is our weekly county commissioner meeting. At this time, I please ask everyone to rise, follow me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everyone. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. If there's no additions or corrections, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll get right on into the agenda. These are all action items. First one is the meeting minutes of November 27th.
Doug, did you get any corrections? I had some, but I could not, it wouldn't save them last night. Okay, hold on one second when I get in there, because there were some corrections. And I apologize, if you want me to, I'll just send them to you. It's just a
That'd be
couple
great.
typos, but there is a couple sentences that have,
So you want to wait to approve those? Or just approve them with the corrections?
I'll approve them with the corrections and then just send it, but I couldn't get it saved last night. Must have been down here. So, Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the minutes with a couple of small changes.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, get your phones out. The next one is an action item. This is to set commissioner dates for January, February, and March. We have 5 Mondays in January.
The last one is our commissioner convention.
I'm assuming we don't want to have one on the 1st of January, do we?
I would assume that you guys
Second.
don't want to have one on the 29th of January, Mr. Chairman.
What's the 29th?
That is the beginning of.
Well, that's
the-
midwinter conference, isn't it? Good catch.
And can we talk about possibly looking at Wednesday meetings?
Neil,
We
as
could
much
certainly
as I would,
discuss it.
I'd like to do that, but there's just too many conflicts. I mean, all of my IAC, NACO meetings are all on Wednesdays. So,
Everything's on Wednesdays for you.
yeah, I mean, and Tuesdays, I've got 2 of my board meetings are on Tuesdays.
Yeah, all mine are Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So does that mess up paying bills if we have it like on a Wednesday or another day other than Monday?
It wouldn't mess up paying bills, no, Mr. Chairman.
We pay what, every 2 weeks?
All of our trainings are on Wednesdays through IAC for the most part. There are Tuesdays or Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I'd like to do that too, but I don't know how to, because then we won't participate in any.
Is Monday's a bad day for you, Neil?
No, not really. It was just, got a little feedback from people on November 1st when we had it on that Wednesday. And several people liked it. Give them,
October 1st?
it just gave them more time. No, I think it was.
Oh, November 1st, yeah.
November 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted us to discuss it and see what we thought.
But right now, it's looking like the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd. What's the 15th?
So the 2nd of January.
Hmm?
The 2nd of January.
We can move it to the 2nd.
Well, the 1st is New Year's Day, so.
So let's do January 2nd, January 8th, January 15th, and January 22nd. How's that sound?
And then the 29th is,
We're in Boise. 2nd, 8th.
that'd be
When
the
is,
That'd be the 5th Monday of the month anyhow, though.
when is the holiday in there?
There's a one on the
Holiday.
15th. There's Martin Luther King on the 15th.
So we can't do it that day then?
So let's move that one to the 16th.
So do we do 5 meetings a month or just 4?
Just 4.
So why don't we skip that one and do 2nd, 8th, 22nd, and the 29th?
29th, we're in Boise for IAC.
Oh, that's right. So we won't be there anyhow. Okay, follow you. Okay.
So let's shoot for the 2nd, the 8th, the 16th, and the 22nd.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to February. There's 4 in February. And the 19th is President's Day, so I'm assuming we would move that one to the 20th. So that would be the 5th, the 12th, the 20th, and the 26th of February.
So the NACO conference is over the 12th. Neil, I don't know, are you going to that?
Me? No.
No, Neil had talked about going also. I don't know what your plan is, but if you go, there will be 2 of us out, so.
Yeah, I haven't had that discussion yet, so.
Okay, so let's go ahead and plan that then. If we have to, we'll have to do something else.
Okay, so Doug, we got the 5th, the 12th, the 20th, and 26th for February. And March is the 4th, the 11th, the 18th. Let's see, the 25th is something, some holiday, I don't know. Holly?
It says Holly.
25th?
Holly?
It might
Palm
be,
Sunday and Holly.
Holly might be a Jewish.
Easter's on the
Holiday.
31st. So how about the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th? Does that work?
Sounds good.
Get those, Doug?
Sir.
I'm gonna make the motion that we set those meeting dates as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, Jeff, come on up. You're next. This is also an action item. This is sign the lease for storage and removal of gravel with Donna Valdez. This is in Yellow Pine. Is it still the same amount
Same amount, 13,000.
for the year?
Yep, and we had to do a new one because the stibnite repairs are gonna take most of that material out of there. Good news, we're just about there.
Then once we're cleared out and done, then we can,
Then
Be
we
done
won't
with
have
this
to do
lease.
this anymore.
you know,
That pit's pretty much depleted unless we go through the Boise National Forest and do another chunk through them, but
So this lady owns a pit back there and we get material out of her pit? Is that
yeah,
what
we
it is?
used to crush back there every 4 or 5 years. We
Mhm.
depleted her pit. And the Boise National let us into 4.9 acres of theirs, and we did one big crushing out of there. And we're pretty much done in there.
and the stockpile's on her side.
Yes, the stockpiles are on the Valdez side.
So we just paying her for what we took this year, or is this for next year?
This is for 2024.
2024, okay.
Yep. This begins January 1st and ends December 31st.
So worst case scenario, if Boise National decides to expand it, would we need her pit anymore?
Yes.
We'd still
Yes,
need it
we
to
have
access,
to access through her pit to
Yeah.
get to the Boise National Forest pit.
but we wouldn't use it for storage, so maybe we could drop this value a little bit.
We might have to, but since Boise National Forest is kind of changed, or I mean, Jake Strohmeyer's gone. I don't know what his first name is, the new ranger there.
Mhm.
So it's, I mean, everybody thinks differently.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's why they only did, Boise National gave us a 5-year deal through their 4.9 acres. The reason it's 4.9, as soon as you hit the 5 acres, you gotta go through NEPA and all this other stuff, so. The bigger you go, the
More work.
only way we can go is go deep, but kinda hoping we should have everything out of there next year.
Okay, everyone good with this? I'd entertain a motion to renew the lease.
I'll make a motion that we sign lease for storage and removal of gravel with Donna Valdez.
A second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Jeff, what if we needed gravel again in 10 years? I mean,
That's when we can start going through the process again.
Start all over.
And Chris is his name, Bentley. the ranger
Yeah.
down here.
Good.
So we got either dealing with him, or if he decides to move on or up, then every time they change hands,
I said 10 years, not 10 months.
10 years.
Chris will stick around for a while, but man, they go through them so fast.
That's good.
I just got an email, I think it was, came through this weekend sometime, that the reg agencies have approved the VA
Oh, good.
for the stibnite repair, so hopefully here in the next couple of months, we'll have money.
We'll have some money.
Yep.
That would be awesome. That's what, about
Fund
820?
your building.
What's that?
I can help fund your building.
Exactly.
840,000,
Well,
820?
700, little over 700,000 for the initial deal we did 4 years ago. Yeah, we're almost 4 years into this.
Yeah, I know.
But to do the repairs, we're at 80-some thousand dollars to go back and fix the stuff again, so that'll be added on, so.
We don't know yet for sure, but it's over 800,000.
68, 80,
Yeah.
somewhere in there probably.
Well,
Yep.
good deal.
Be good to get that.
Yep. Okay, I'll
Okay,
be back at 10 or something like that. Thank you.
yep. Okay, our next agenda item is an action item. This is to sign the ATNIP contract for snow removal of prosecutors. Brian, I'm assuming you're bringing this one forward?
Yeah,
We didn't get a copy of this, Brian? With the routing and everything?
don't know if this got in the packet or not. This was one that Arnie reviewed and was working with Kathleen.
Oh, yes,
so-
yeah, it's in there. Hang on. Remember reading it.
Okay,
It's not the
I saw one from Arnie on something else, but not this.
ACO, no, it's not ACO.
Atnip excavation.
I didn't see this.
I can give you this copy if you want to take a minute to review it, and we can decide whether to sign this one later.
Yeah, you probably better bring it up. I don't know where this one went.
Okay, just to give you the summary, and then I do want to give you the opportunity to read it before you make any decision whether to sign it. But our contractor from last year did not renew, and we are using the contractor that AmeriTitle had found to do the upper lot. Usually can get a little bit better deal when they're right there in the neighborhood and can just swing down the hill and do the work. The cost is $65 per time that they plow. We used our same, this contract will look familiar to you. We used our standard professional services agreement that we created. So same contract as we used last year with a different contractor. So with that, let me give you the copy, give you the chance to review it. And if you want to sign it before the end of the day, I can come and get it later. So.
Well, I mean, with $65
I'm
an
still
hour,
trying to
or
find it.
a time to come in
$65
per trip,
time.
per
Yeah.
trip.
And it usually takes less than an hour.
Would Arnie have sent it to us?
Yeah, it's not in the packet though, and I know I saw it somewhere.
You saw one from Arnie on the proposal for Price Loop. Do snow
Oh,
removal.
yep, you're right. That's the one I was looking at was Price Loop.
We don't have anything from him. Will you make sure? I mean, we gotta hold you guys as accountable as every other division.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
If that did not get in the packet, I'll go back and talk to Arnie and Kathleen and make sure that happens before we put anything on the agenda. So appreciate your patience on this one, and we will get it right next time.
I mean, do we want to go
I
ahead?
think it
and
was our
just-
fault, Oki. I mean, I'm trying to look to see if it was in fact there was a request to get it on the agenda first. But ultimately, it's the clerk's office responsibility to make sure that the commissioners have everything that's on the agenda in their packet.
I think we could go ahead and
That's
approve this right
our
now, but if you guys
responsibility to
want to look
ask
at
that
it,
when it's
we'll
not
take a
there.
few minutes. We're kind of ahead of schedule.
Well,
Take a look
I
at it.
do appreciate it, but it's really important to have the information to you so you can review it. And if you have concerns or questions,
Mine was
now's
just
the
insurance.
time and the place to have those questions answered. So we'll do what we can on our end and work with the clerk's office to get everything in your packet so you're fully informed by Monday morning.
And I need to start reviewing my packet on Fridays instead of Sundays so that I can request the information prior to. So we do have all of the insurances.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem. It's our standard stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve and sign that contract for snow removal at the prosecutor's office.
I'll second.
Moving in second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Go ahead and sign it, you guys. You got the minutes there too?
Yeah.
New legal
That's to know if
assistant
there's any
today,
changes
huh?
on that back page, though, Mr. Chairman.
Ryan? Ryan, you got a new legal assistant today?
Yeah, she starts today.
Awesome.
Okay, our next agenda item, we're gonna keep on going here, is approve up to $1,000 of funding to support the Valley County residents in attending the Idaho Commission for the Arts Business Development Training. And this is to use economic development funds.
Is that
This
the one
was-
we talked about last week?
Melissa?
This was for the arts, what's it called?
Well,
District?
It's making business plans, creating business opportunities for those wanting to start new businesses.
That's right, that's right.
So yes, I would move to approve the $1,000 of economic development funds to support Valley County residents in attending the Idaho Commission of the Arts Business Development Training.
Seconded.
Moved in second, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay,
Morning. We just approved your $1,000. Is that what you were walking over
Yes.
for?
Yeah, I didn't know if you
Sorry.
needed me here or not. And I
Oh.
was like,
nope, it's all done.
perfect, thank you.
You can go back shoveling snow.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
I didn't mean to run her off.
Other things to do.
And Doug, you took the one off for the Cascade Library?
They were not ready, Mr. Chairman. I had asked some questions to the library director if they had approached the city of Cascade. Since it is a city library, I asked them if they had in fact approached the city of Cascade for funding. She indicated that they had not. I recommended that they approach the city of Cascade for funding before they came to the commissioners. My apologies if I overstepped my boundaries
Nope,
by
nope,
doing
that's-
that, but I assume that that was a question that you would have asked them.
First one.
So they were not prepared at this point in time.
And they're looking for 21,000?
21,000 for the awning, I believe, or 28,000.
20,959.
And don't we have a policy that when we fund something, it needs to be countywide? We have never funded anything since I've been here for an individual city, and I really don't want to start that precedent, so.
Nope, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, it's a whole different entity.
But they will be potentially requesting to present to the commissioners a request for funding. They were interested in the ARPA dollars that the commissioners
course.
But they are.
have available. But I strongly suggested that they contact their city before they came to the county.
Thank you for doing that.
I do apologize, though, it was in your agenda still, or your packet. That was not removed.
Toy hauler.
Yes, sir.
Is it a gooseneck?
Yep.
Oh my,
Fifth
fifth
wheel.
wheel.
Totally excited.
Run your side by side right up in the back of it.
And it's got a 16-foot garage, so Fred can put his motorcycle in there.
My goodness.
We're gonna have fun.
That way you can take all the grandkids with you.
So our next agenda item is not for another 9 minutes, so we're gonna mute and we'll see everyone back here at 9:30. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're at our 9:30 agenda item. This is an action item. The signing of the joint power agreement with McCall for the Sampson Trail Pathway. Everyone should have this in your packet. And took a long time to get this thing going, but it looks like we're finally moving.
I was looking at,
Very excited.
Dave, come on up.
Oh, wow.
We just announced it,
Ahead of the schedule? I thought it was at 9:45.
9:30 on mine.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, yeah. Just looking at it. You're good with it?
I'm good with it. Yeah, this came from the city. The agenda, or excuse me, the amendments that we had. Oki approved it, wrote most of it, and yeah, so this is the final draft.
And this is only for non-winter use. In the wintertime, it's just gonna snow up.
For now, you bet.
Okay.
You think, yeah, that's a great, I mean, it'd be a great cross-country ski kind of a deal. and-
Well, it's in the area where the snow gets piled up in the winter.
Oh, got it.
Basically, the borrow
So
pits.
snow removal would be.
So
okay.
right now, yeah, snow removal is not very practical. We are building the boardwalk so that in the future we can drive snow removal equipment across them.
Got it.
So
I'm very supportive of this. This is the next step of our grant that we received and partnering with city.
Is this on the east side of Sampson or the west side?
if you're coming north from Pearson Lane, it starts on the east side, runs about 3/4 of a mile, and then there's a crosswalk that takes you over to the west side.
Okay.
So we had to do that to avoid some wetland areas, and we ended up, yeah, basically dodging the bullet on all the wetlands except for one where we're going to build a boardwalk on it.
Dave, this picture shows it going all the way to Pearson. Is that future or is that
Well, so
part of the show?
ironically, inflation. We asked for $250,000 for the whole project when we first applied for this grant, and when the bid came back, the initial bid, it came back at about 360 for the first mile and 1.2 miles.
Mhm.
So we started looking at what the costs were, and we were able to cut about $60,000 off the cost. But the biggest single cost in this project right now is traffic control. We got to have flaggers.
Oh,
That's $70,000 worth
Oh, my gosh.
for the first mile.
I'm available on Tuesday and
That's,
Thursday.
I said the same thing.
oh my
Um,
goodness.
So we're going to apply for another same grant, the LTAC grant, to do from Elo south to Pearson.
Right.
Hopefully be able to wrap that all together and get it all done next summer.
That'd be
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Can you use
That'd be
electronic
great
traffic people or?
I don't know what the regulations are. Just working with the contractor, we had to include that in there. It was 1,200 hours of flagger time.
Well, let's hope that.
Can we get a stoplight at Pearson and or at Elo and Sampson Trail?
Oh yeah, you bet.
A few million?
Yeah, those people quit firing off at us.
No, but I as I say, I was kind of glancing at some pedestrian push button ones for the S Bridge the other day. Those are pretty expensive too.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we sign the joint power agreement with McCall for the Sampson Trail Pathway.
Oh, second.
Been moved to second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
You guys want to sign this copy, or do you have one up there?
I don't know.
Exciting. Expansion of pathways is always a good thing. Great for the kids walking to school.
Good job on this.
Yeah.
Putting it all together.
Hopefully we'll be able to maintain it someday. Around, but
Pave it someday.
nice too. But
For right now, it's just gonna be a gravel path.
We're pulling in some of our recycled asphalt,
Oh, okay.
so that stuff packs down to almost like a pavement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it'll be a really nice surface once it's done.
Cool.
need some of that out on Heinrich.
Yeah, my pothole's filled this week.
Nice.
All for this stuff. You can call.
Don't you have, doesn't everybody sign this?
They didn't put a place on there for all of you guys, but if you want to just sign it. I'm not sure why the form that they sent back as a PDF, and I couldn't change it.
When it's just all to sign below you, we can all sign.
Yeah, they left a place at the top of the city.
Yeah, I think we should all sign this.
I can read, if you send me that version, I don't know why the version I had didn't have that on it.
I can do that, or we can sign this one, whatever you want us to do.
That was in the packet? Let me see if I can print.
The second page printed blank, maybe that one was supposed to have had the other signatures on it.
Let's see if we can't print this one out and, you bring it back and then we'll just sign it through the day. And I'm gonna forward this to you.
If I have any,
right now, Joe?
if I have
I can print it out right now.
Oh, you can-
Up here?
It's gonna go downstairs.
Oh.
Okay, and then just bring it back when you get it. We'll sign it then.
I've got one page of letterhead, I can print it here if you want me to.
Can you? You just send it down below, whatever you wanna do.
Doesn't matter to me. We'll just print it. How many pages is it? Well, yours is off from what ours was.
Well, and this one, yeah, it had Ed Allen as the commissioner, document that we had. So I'll print it off.
Yeah, this does have it on it. Good catch, Doug.
Yeah, that's.
So we gotta change that too. You see that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Bottom.
The one that I got, like I said, it didn't have all three of your signature lines on it.
That's out of DocuSign.
We gotta change Ed's
It
name
just shows
first.
it up here on this.
And this is a PDF, so I don't even know how we're
But
gonna do that.
again,
We
it's
may just have
PDF. I
to-
can't change. You're just
Yeah.
gonna have to mark it up. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, our next agenda item is not till 10, so we're gonna mute and we'll see everyone back here at 10 o'clock.
Chairman, we're unmuted.
Okay, welcome back. We're at our 10 o'clock agenda item. This is an action item. Jeff, come on up. This is a request to surplus some trucks, vehicles from the road department. And you said you had a few more you wanted to add?
Okay, so you guys have the 2008 Ford F-350.
Yep.
That's the weed department supervisor's pickup pickups on order for him. This is a high mileage for 170,000. It's
Oh, yeah.
starting to get some issues. The 04 Dodge 2500. I think that's supposed to be a half ton. Well, it should be a 1500, I think, 178,000 miles on it. 06 Ford Explorer, which was IT's. It's got some quirks, so we're just gonna get rid of it while we can still get quite a bit of money out of it. We're adding 2002 Ford Windstar, which is the extension office's vehicle. It's
Oh,
got
that-
130,000 on it.
A minivan.
It's that little brown minivan.
Yep.
Rattles and bangs and shakes when you go down the road. And I did buy a replacement that. I got a used Grand Cherokee from Kathy for
Saw that last week.
33,000 or something. And the building department's Ford Ranger, which is a 2003. It's got 230,000 miles on it.
Oh, these are going on that auction site.
That we did really good on this last go around.
Okay,
So
so
make a motion to surplus these vehicles.
A second.
there's 5 of them, correct?
Yes.
5 vehicles.
Okay, we got a motion second to surplus 5 vehicles. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
One of them we were gonna surplus, I'm gonna move into another department. We got a sheriff's rig that's only got 108,000 miles on it that's in still pretty good shape, so we're gonna move it over to reval or something.
Is it a pickup?
Jeff, I don't remember that our office pulled those titles.
Mickey will get a hold of you.
Okay.
Yep, we'll get everything.
Okay. My apologies for asking, when are these vehicles gonna be surplus?
One of them's already, I kind of jumped the gun and last week because I was in a hurry to get them sold before the snow hit. So I got the Explorer, the 2008 Explorer or 6 Explorer. It's going up. It's already on it.
Okay, so next, I mean, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to get an understanding
Yeah,
of when
sometime this week.
we need to get them,
we
the
need to get all
titles
the
pulled, I
titles.
need to get them
Yes.
signed and then get them to Mickey.
Yes. And I think we've already got, I think a couple of these were on the surplus list 6 months ago, but we can't find a record of it. We've already got the titles, so that means we've already went through the
Going through the
process,
process.
but we just covered our butt. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, Mackenzie, come on up. I think you're next. These are action items. First one is to sign a letter of support for the Sampson Trail Pathway Project.
Yes, sir. So we are applying, this is for phase 2 of the Sampson Trail. So initially, we were going to be able to complete the project under one grant, but the cost ran over. So we are applying for the grant again through LTAC.
Okay, everybody, we have this in your packet. If you had a chance to read it.
Yep.
I'll make the motion that we go ahead and sign the LTAC support letter for the Sampson Trail Pathway Project.
Second.
And moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Hey.
Aye, motion carries.
You want me to wait until we get through all 4 because they are all signatures?
Sure.
Okay.
The next one up is, this is also an action item, approval to submit the LTAC Council Child Pedestrian Safety Program application. What's this about?
So this is the application for the letter of support. It's through LTAC, it's the
Okay.
Child Pedestrian Safety Grant for the South Sampson Trail.
This is the application packet,
Yes, so we would like to submit it. It's due.
another 250,000.
There's no match committed.
That
So
was
this
my
is-
next question. You're right on top of it.
This is a grant also, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, if we're good with this, I'd entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the submit local highway technical assistance council child pedestrian safety program application.
Second.
Oh.
Moved in second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
So does this go for the next phase that's going on down to Pearson?
Yes, from Elo Road to Pearson.
Okay, so that's what that's for. Okay.
Okay, the next agenda item is also an action item. This is to sign the LTAC agreement for Leading Idaho Bridge Program.
Yes, so this is for Mud and Willow Creek Bridge, and there's also no match for this one. They are just going to improve these bridges.
So this is not a replacement? just
Nope, these are repairs.
And there is no match, so. Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the LTAC agreement for the Leading Idaho Bridge Program.
Second that. Must be the LTAC right there.
Repair bridge in place. Okay, we got a motion. Was there a second?
Yes.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. The next one, also an action to sign and sub-grant agreement from the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. Ooh, where's this one?
So
This
this
was all
is,
about COVID, right?
yeah, so we were awarded the $26,000 to purchase the Arrowhead cleaning device for the jail. That will
Nice.
also give us some benefits over here for cleaning.
So is that like a portable device? Does it go into the
It's
ductwork?
It will be installed over there. I think it's installed through the water line. We talked about it back in September. Yeah, kind of an interesting, innovative.
That's something Scott knows a little bit more about.
Not Scott, but the lieutenant.
It's over in the jail.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kinda neat.
26,000.
There's no match on that either.
I'm just trying to see if it's like a standalone. Because at one time we asked Scott to buy some air cleaners for the whole facilities.
I remember, this is a liquid cleaning product.
Yes, yeah. So it will eliminate all the other cleaning products over there. This is very safe and green.
Specifically designed for COVID, flus, those types of things.
Like inside ductwork and things like that.
No, it's actually, it's a liquid cleaning product. So you apply it, but it's a specific cleaning
Yeah.
type of product from what Mike LaCroix told us before.
So we submitted that back in September and kind of went over that. And then this, we were awarded it. So we're just signing the award agreement.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion that we sign the agreement from the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. I'm just trying to read a little bit here.
I can't understand what it is, so
I could send you
You've
over
given
the
us-
invoice if you want to read more about it. It's actually really interesting, but it's kind of complex.
I don't need to know. They do.
Okay. You got a motion and a second to approve the grant with Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Come on up.
First one is in 3 signatures. And that one's the LTAC. I took out all the additional papers. And this one is the Leading Idaho Bridge. So I think you attest
Jerry,
and
what
then
is
I'll put your.
RC and D. It says Susie Hicks, RC.
Right, Chairman?
Yeah.
Welcome
It's the same
packet.
thing as the Valley County Soil and Water District up here. Districts that we participate
And
in.
last one is the Department of Health.
There might be, but it's
Soil and water.
a soil and water.
Yeah, I'm following you. Okay. Just had to ask a question.
We actually
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, got it in.
just be careful, don't fall over that thing.
Oh. More.
How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Hope you're enjoying it.
So this doesn't have our signatures on it either. Do you want us just to sign with
I don't know
you?
what that is. Just the top one. Just the.
Oh,
letters
this is the
apart.
one for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. All these.
This is the one Dave had up here. Never mind.
I got writer's cramp this morning.
Doug, we don't have this one for
Got about 100
Scott.
Christmas
Let's
cards.
go.
to sign.
Is that going on next
Maybe
week?
Christmas. Thank you, guys.
This is replace carpets and mats.
That's on at 2 PM.
Oh, thanks. Perfect. Just wanted to make sure we weren't leaving something behind. Okay, our next agenda item is not till 10:30, so we're gonna mute and we'll see everyone back here at 10:30.
Can we go ahead just because it's,
You wanna go ahead?
I mean, there's
I guess it's not an action item.
not an action item. It's just kind of a
We're still on?
recap. There were some things I
So
wanted
then
to
our-
raise.
Okay, our next agenda item is not an action item. This is a recap, the Taxpayers of Idaho Conference from Commissioner Mopin.
There was just some really interesting things that came out from that conference last Thursday. Johanna was in attendance also. So just for Neil, so you know what this is all of, it's a legal review, CPA review, legislation, or legislators are there, commissioners are there, just anyone that wants to learn about what the plan is moving forward, what the legislation is looking at. But they had a state economist and a national economist there that were really interesting this time. But also they displayed some new dashboards that are on websites. And Faye, you may want to take a look at this too. Phil McGrain's Secretary of State's office has rolled out some new voter information for Idaho. And I think this is important for people to know where this is at so that they can actually go and look at it. But there's brand new it goes so far in depth, and they're continuing to work on this. But it's on the sos.idaho.gov dashboards, so you can get in and play with it. But what it does, and what his entire presentation around, is transparency in Idaho now. We are the most transparent state in the nation, from what Brandon Wolf has done with Transparency Idaho, and I'll show you that one in a minute. And then also what Phil McGrain's office is doing for the state. So we can pull up our county and actually find out who is moving here, whether they are unaffiliated or affiliated with a party, and female, male, the age of the individuals that are moving here. So it's got a ton of demographic information on it. So Valley County, we have almost 8,000 voters. It's leaning Republican. And then you can actually get into the point where, I don't know if the dashboard has gone further yet or not, but they are actually, he had defined exactly where people are moving from. So right now, there's been a lot of concern that the state's going more and more blue. Well, actually, it's going more and more red. So people are moving here now. They've always done demographic shifts. People move to the Sunshine States because it's warmer. You know, they've always moved to states because of, like, the tech industry pulled in huge shifts. And now people are moving for the political parties. We're become more and more segregated as a country, unfortunately. Because of party affiliation. People are actually choosing a state that more closely aligns with their party affiliation. And so now they're starting to be able to actually identify, hopefully,
Nope, now we've gone blue.
well, of the registered voters, these are the numbers that are either Republican, unaffiliated, or Democrat. But he had an entire way of getting down to where you could actually see where they were coming from. Like, we had 6 people move from Vermont last year. He had each state broken down. And I know that they're adding to the dashboards. I'm just not certain if it's all there yet for us to be able to get to. But what I really found fascinating was who's moving here by demographic shift. So when you look at our, like in our comprehensive plan that we did, our strategic plan, we looked at how to prepare for the future. So if you look at the age identification, we are aging rapidly. We're a very old county. And in order to, well, we are, but in order to find people to actually work, our sustainability plan here is not great. If we lose our middle class and our youth, then we have no one that's first of all coming in to run for our positions in the future, to work at, yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to start really being sensitive to those that are moving here and what their age
I wonder if
demographics
that's more
are.
a housing issue though, or affordability
It
for
is,
the younger generations.
it is.
So look at,
But if we don't,
look at the breakdown there. That's what I see. The 18 to 44. That is so small, and I think it goes back to what you just said, El. How can we afford to live here? And so there's not a whole lot coming this way.
Well, you don't know if, I'm assuming it's housing, but it could also be wages.
That's true. That's true.
and it could be, oh, this is where voters moving to Idaho. And that's where we need to always be sensitive to that. If we lose our youth and our middle class, we're just gonna be in so much trouble as we move forward. So, Idaho. So if you were to click on another state, it will show you that state, but it also shows you each one of the cities and what each one of those cities are broken down to. But then
Does that
he
do that in
moved it.
Idaho?
Yes.
Oh,
it
that's
does.
cool.
Nope, these are ones moving.
Hmm.
So if we had people moving here, so in Montana, we had 63% or 95 Republicans moving to the state of Idaho. So those are the affiliations that you actually see that moved into Idaho. You can use this on every single state and find out how many people came from that state to Idaho.
Oh, look at how many are unaffiliated, over 30%.
Yep. I thought this was,
Those are the ones that don't vote.
yes. I thought Vermont only had 6 moving here. There was more than that. But still, it kind of shows you, and actually our real estate community, if you're listening out there, I mean, this is huge. If you want to know where we could actually go out and find jobs, not only the party affiliation, but we would be able to find out exactly how many people came from this state and do some advertising in those states in order to bring people here.
So that's saying, like on the Utah one, go back to that one. That's saying that people moving to Idaho from Utah, 64% were Republican.
Correct.
But 4,688 people are moving from Utah to Idaho.
So you got to add all those together.
That's a lot.
When you look at California, when they say California was the largest state, that is a true statement, but look how many of them voted with their political feet.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in Oregon and Washington. Those are the 3 states that they said that we received the largest population shift. So,
Coming to our state.
coming to our state. I mean, now,
Does it have a breakdown of what kind of jobs they're coming for?
not on this. This is just voters through their election registration. You can get that though. Department of Commerce has a lot of those types of reports. Department of Commerce has a lot of information on it too. This is the new campaign finance portal that's supposed to be going live. I think it's on the 20th of December 20th. And he didn't really go over that because none of us had training on it yet.
You break that down into counties too?
I don't know
Those
on
are all
this
must be
one.
legislators, huh?
Yeah,
What's,
mayors, city councils. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah,
should
there
be
it
able
is.
to get to everything.
one man to
But we're gonna be able to, I mean, this was interesting too. Just the amount of information that's now available. So this is what has been affecting our money in politics. Our largest contributors were all out of state last year. So when we think that we're not the center of political finance, we are definitely, I mean, the largest individuals donating. Look at how much money came from the American Federation for Children last year.
Americans for Liberty, that's,
All out of state. The top 3 donators in the state of Idaho were all out of state last year.
conservatives.
I thought that was really interesting. I don't know what the map was. I don't know what the map is. Companies represented by lobbyists. I mean, this is really down to the cellular level now of the information that they're giving. But then also, when you go to Transparent Idaho. So Transparent Idaho is one where the local taxpayers should go in and play, because it holds all of us accountable to where we are spending money. It shows Valley County, and you can actually compare us against every other county in the state to find out how much money we spend on our roads, how much we spend on governmental entities and issues. What really shocked me was the amount of money that we spend on economic development from the other counties. It's astonishing. We are very, very low from who are comparable size counties. Trying to figure out if I can figure out how to tell you guys how we can compare.
What would be a comparable county to us? I mean, Kootenai or
No,
Probably Blaine.
Teton is comparable to us. I'm sorry? Yeah, Latah, Blaine, I think Owyhee County is just below us. Teton is really comparable almost across the board because, they're hit with
all the recreation stuff like we are.
there we go. Their size county is about the same. We have a $31 million budget. Theirs is 14. The difference on ours, we had a lot of, this year anyway, we had a lot of grants that we were writing for that were included in our budget that unfortunately we didn't get, so. But it goes over education, it goes over their county, all about their cities, everything that you want to know. It goes over every salary in the entire state of Idaho is on Transparent Idaho, where they're spending the money. So if people really want to compare what we're doing against other counties, it's all there. I really respect Brandon Wolf for what he's doing. Again, we are the most transparent state in the country right now for everything that these guys are doing. So that was the first part of the day. It was pretty much these 2 guys giving us information, and then the economists from the state of Idaho. Unplug this for just a second until I can make sure that I don't have anything up there that
Information overload.
it was a lot of data. But if that's what we should be getting is data to make good decisions.
That's pretty cool, that kind of a breakdown of.
And then nationally, if there's anything on here that's going to be a problem. The national guys, so I went really to hear what they thought about the business as far as what we're going to be expecting in the future as far as a budget. They talked a lot about the national budget and how Idaho is comparing right now. And these are all places that you can go. This is FRED, which is out of the Federal Reserve System. FRED at stlouisfed.org gives you all kinds of economic data if we want to learn what's happening right now in the state of Idaho versus what's happening in the country. So look at our home values. This doesn't even include Valley County. Valley County's average home price is $650,000 now. US is $346,000.
And clear back in 2002, look how low it was.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And look what happened.
2012 on up.
COVID hurt everybody. And why COVID drove pricing so much higher? It was because people were trying to get out of states that they were locked down in, into other states, and it didn't matter how much they were paying. They had the liquidity in order to come to the state that they felt like that was most open and that they were going to have the most freedoms in. And so you can see what it did to the values in Idaho.
Interesting.
On the national economy fronts, he pretty much scared all of us to death. So it started out, 1943, the Great Recession. And then it talks about the percentage of GDP and what's going to happen with GDP. Right now, he said that GDP, or our budget this year was 6.4 trillion. We're getting in like 4.3 trillion. So every single year we're now going farther and farther and farther into debt. He said that doesn't concern me as much as the fact that our primary debt deficit, this net interest outlay, look at starting in 2023,
Just gets bigger.
it almost balances everything else that we will be paying. So the cost of the national debt is starting to cut into everybody's budget so hard that it balances our entire federal budget.
Can't pay it back.
So this is the federal budget for 2024. This is mandatory. 61% of the federal is mandatory. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and then other spending. And then net interest right now is 11%. And then defense, and then non-defense. So non-defense is every other layer of federal government. Education, health and welfare, all of our other programs are all underneath that non-defense spending.
That's 966 billion, right?
Yes. So when they're talking about the fact that, we can't look at these programs, you can't continue to do what we're doing and not look at those programs. Doesn't make sense. And he did talk a lot about what his thoughts were. But if anybody wants to research this further, it's scrfb.org. And he just went in a lot on growth trends. I mean, everything was, we were going, okay, we're gonna, don't know what we're going to be doing moving forward as far as counties and everything else having to plan, because the state's tax revenue is shrinking right now. They had the legislators there that did all the property tax relief last year, and state revenues are going backwards. So they don't know how in the future they're going to continue to fund the property tax relief that
So
they
you're
just
talking about
did.
sales tax revenue.
Sales tax revenue, yeah. So our questions were, okay, well, now that you've created this for the taxpayers, how are we gonna go back to the taxpayers and now raise their rates again? And that's really what's gonna happen, because our budgets can't go backwards. We are as tight as we can get budgetary wise. And so it's gonna go back to the taxpayers. I wanna send you guys one more. Next year, I would recommend everybody go to the ATI conference. It was just so interesting. One of the things that he talked about was employees working less. We've talked about the fact we cannot find employees. They don't know why, but more. The percentage of the population, those that were 60 during COVID just left the workplace. So the population shift is definitely the older workers have left the workplace.
The way people come back is if they're hungry.
Well,
I mean, I hate to say that.
the
but
concern is
that's the
that
truth.
they're gonna run out of Social Security sooner. They're using up all of their retirement now, between now and 62 or 65. So in the future, there may even be more of a shift to a need of Social Security. Sorry, I should have had all this more prepared.
Well, this is good information.
So this was the graph on employees working less. In 2020, they couldn't even track it. They don't know where all the data went. There was just not enough data there. But if you look from 23, we were at 67.5% of the employees. We're now down to 66%. That's a lot of employees on any given day not working. And that's just flat, not in the workforce. So it's not even that they're home working remotely. It's just they left the workforce.
Totally left.
So when we wonder why we can't find employees, there's good reason behind that.
And that tracks even the people that work from home, is that right?
Correct. Department of Labor Statistics. Oh, and then these were important websites. If you guys, want, you can take a picture of this, but he had all kinds of information on, what the recommendations are that are coming out of the CRFB to fix the national debt. Thought this was fascinating. On a county level, he talked a lot about the fact that when we have these types of tax shifts, this is going to come out of taxpayers' pockets. So they're going to have less on the local level for all of the payments that they are going to need to pay for here. Less for taxes, less for all of that. Let's see, who else was there?
You have to remember off the top of your head how much sales tax revenue we get now.
So we get like the excess base and then we just get the revenue sharing. I can tell you, yes.
Mhm.
Hang on one moment.
So that's what I would assume would be one of the first things that go away is that sales tax revenue.
And they did talk too that they are gonna be doing some shifting on that bill. There are some things that have come up with that bill. So Doug, as far as the Clerks Association, there will be fixes to that bill. And so if there's things that you guys want in there, we need to be contacting them sooner rather than later. Johanna was there, and I don't know if she's listening. She can come in and give you this information too, but she just ran the numbers on second homeownership in Valley County, and it's down. It's 73.14%. So that is down from previous, and it does make a little bit of a difference on which part of the county you're in. I think McCall has a higher second home ownership than Cascade
So
does.
people are dumping their high value house right now to get out.
They are, yes, or we have a lot more people moving here and claiming this is their initial residence. Oh,
So
second
they're
residence.
Yeah, that's
selling
another
their
one.
second home, and these people moving here buying those second homes up.
Or they're moving into this one and claiming their one in Ada County is their second residence. And that makes sense, because if you're gonna put your property tax, the greatest value is that homeowner's exemption. So if you've got a higher valued home in Valley County, you're gonna take it there versus in Ada County.
Some of them are electricians.
Almost all of them are. Those guys, they're just charge a lot.
I got one more I'll show you. I wish I had all the slides from all of their presentations, because it was very fascinating what we're looking at. And so as we're budgeting for the next few years, we need to be sensitive. I mean, Representative Speaker Moyle was there, and he was hammering hard on local budgets and the fact that he's gonna hold local government accountable to all of our budgets and make sure that when they just passed the school reform, that the schools aren't gonna go in and just pass another bond because they just got a lot of their others reduced. They said that's not what we're trying to accomplish here. So they're gonna be looking at how they control some of that.
Yeah, 'cause 2/3 of their budget is school.
Right. And this was just, I thought was kind of fascinating. These are the policy extensions. So these are all temporary measures that they're now trying to extend, which will also add to the national debt, which is not included in any of the other conversations that they had had.
So PILT and SRS and it isn't in any of those.
No, but PILT is actually right now being looked at, and SRS is being looked at in Manchin's office on December 14th. They will put together a strategy to try and create sustainable programs with that.
That's
So
what
they're
I
doing the
was-
markups
that's what I
on
was
December
hearing.
14th for those programs. I just wanted to give you guys an update, you know, what came out of it. I thought it was really fascinating. Some of the things that came out of that legislative conference on Tuesday had a long conversation. IDL had a long conversation. I brought up the endowment land and how we could do a constitutional amendment. And one of the legislators there said, we don't need a constitutional amendment. We need the state to buy the endowment lands. So he is coming up with some kind of a strategy, whereas part of the state's budget every year would put aside $1 million to $3 million and start buying the endowment lands. So allowing the endowment to make the money they need to make, but state retain control of the endowment lands in Idaho, particularly sensitive areas like ours. So I thought that was a great conversation to be had. Legislators are open to some kind of a conversation
So
about.
if they bought them, they would take them out of endowment?
Yes. And then they could go to the Parks Department.
And doesn't the Constitution say if they buy one, they have to replace it somewhere else?
Well, that would just give the money to the endowment, so then the endowment could figure out what is the best use of theirs. So they could buy ground somewhere else, they could invest it into another type of they've got, I can't remember how many billions of dollars, like $60 billion trust fund right now, that's just sitting there. So they can put it in the market, they can put it anywhere, but that doesn't mean that they have to buy forested ground, even though timberland right now is their largest return on their investment. So, but legislators are open to conversations to try and somehow preserve our endowment ground. Parks and Rec talked about the fact that they are very interested in, bringing in some of those endowment lands into parks in different areas of the state.
Thought about that when Potlatch came up for sale.
IDL's also doing the GNA contracts, just like we're doing. IDL also has those funds available to them, so they're doing GNA projects on their stuff. On December 6th, the Supreme Court of Idaho has a decision on rulemaking, which is going to change the way that all of the legislature does their rulemaking. So we're supposed to be watching for that on the 6th. That was interesting. I guess that's it for today. Oh, public lands. The cow wasting, CWD disease, has hit Adams County. So there is the 2332A unit in Adams County now has that wasting disease in it. And that came from public lands, but DEQ also, I asked them what training is going in, because you can't put that animal in any normal landfill. It has to go into the one in Burley. Burley is the only one that is lined and actually has the capacity to control the spread of this through getting rid of that carcass. So if somebody they're giving out thousands of these testing pins. So if you're a hunter, you can get a testing kit from, where's it from?
Fish and Game?
Riley Fish and Game.
Mhm.
You can get a testing kit. They're testing, it takes like 6 weeks to get them back, but they're testing thousands of animals right now to find out the spread of it. But there's one animal that was found in that 2332A comes from wintering in 3 different regions. So it could have already been there and spread, and they're trying to locate and track that. So if you're a hunter, please get one of those kits.
Is it specific to, say, just deer or elk, or does it cross different species?
Deer, elk, and moose.
It'll cross all 3 of those?
So if you're a hunter with deer, elk, or moose, get a testing kit. But they're also gonna figure out, you know, what do they need to do with the other landfills in the state so that there is more capacity to take this without spreading the disease.
They ought to burn them. Try to bury them in the ground.
You could probably burn them, incinerate them, take them to your vet, have them cremated.
Exactly.
I would
Right
think.
now,
I don't know.
The policy is you have to turn it in if you have one. But who holds on to their carcass for 6 weeks?
Oh,
I
good
mean,
point.
that, I didn't.
You don't do it, but it's gonna go bad unless you got a giant refrigerator.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't figure out. But you're not supposed to eat the meat, so I guess I don't know what you do with the carcass, I mean, people are gonna get rid of it. But,
We harvested 40,000 animals this fall.
yeah,
Deer, elk, and moose. How many
Think it's
people
a-
actually look to see if there's bubbles on the inside?
yeah. You're not supposed to eat the meat, so I guess if you get a positive test back, you gotta dump all your meat. So that was interesting. And then the quagga mussels, they talked about that, trying to control those statewide is gonna be a huge deal. They lost 100,000 sturgeon when they had to kill those quagga mussels down in the south. Yeah, so now those were all factory, or not factory, what are they, fishery, bred. And so they're gonna be replacing that fishery with the same that, you know, comes out of the nurseries. But 100,000, it'll take decades in order to get the same size sturgeon that were killed.
Mhm.
So quagga mussels is something we need to make sure that can't get into our waterways, and Cascade's probably the most at risk for that.
What do they do? Do they poison the water to kill them?
They did, yeah.
They
They
do
did
that in
lose,
the river, though. You can't.
I don't know what they did, but
Kills everything.
they didn't, the actual native trout were able to make it upstream into other tributaries and get away from it, so they didn't lose as much of that, but the sturgeon remain in that main body of the water. And so they lost those. Yeah, it's pretty bad, yeah. So they warned everybody to watch out for that, make sure we're doing whatever we can to stay away from that, so. All right, those were just a few of the updates, really interesting information. But get on the websites and research those other websites, because Transparency Idaho and that SOS dashboard was really interesting in the future, so. All right, Doug, will you turn me off there? If you guys go to anything interesting, we'll share our good info.
Transparency Idaho. Yeah, that was a heck of a lot of information. I like that.
Okay, thanks Sherry for that. We're gonna keep right on going. Arnie, come on up. Our next agenda item is an action item. This is a proposal for snow removal on 145 Price Loop Cascade. Arnie, can you tell me real quick, where is Price Loop? Is this up in Crown Point?
Hidden Trail subdivision on Skunk Creek,
Oh, out that way.
off of Herrick. Take Herrick to the end, take a left on Skunk Creek and go about a mile, and it's
Oh, yeah.
one that, the old surveyor that lived down on Bacon Creek.
Ringgold,
Ringgold.
that subdivision.
Yes, I've done about, I think, almost every lot in there, I've done an approach permit on in the last 2 years, because those lots just, price must have been right. Now we have one person living in there that, is gonna.
So where do you plow to the cattle guard? Or do you just go to Skunk Creek?
Hey,
That
Jeff, do you mind, I apologize, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you mind coming to the microphone?
Sorry.
people can't hear.
We plow to Crest Place, which is the last house coming north on Skunk Creek off of Herrick. So there's a section of Skunk Creek that he's gonna need to plow. And then he's gotta plow one side or the other of Price Loop to get to his place, cause he's at the very top.
So he's gonna come out to the north and not go out to the south?
No, to the south. He's gonna come out
Okay.
Price
now I'm with
Loop,
you.
which is right just where Herrick Reservoir is. Just south of that, maybe a quarter miles where the entrance is up into Hidden Trails, the
Right.
Price Loop. So he's gonna plow a section of Price Loop from Skunk Creek to his house, and then also Skunk Creek from Price Loop to where we quit plowing.
He who, the owner?
I think he's got a pickup with the plow on it, and he's got a blower, a skid steer type machine.
And Jeff, just remind me, what's our policy on people plowing the county roads? Arnie's gonna do that?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so your county ordinance 5-7-2 requires that you have a right-of-way permit and that there are financial guarantees. So in case they hit anything or do any property damage. So the right-of-way permit that Jeff uses has an indemnification agreement, which says basically if they hit anything, they're not going to hold the county responsible. For anybody who sues the county, we'll just hold them accountable. But then on clause number 23, insurance, it requires a commercial policy for $1 million for an individual incident, $2 million in aggregate. So the problem that the Roots are having, the people that live at 145 Price Place, they can't get in a commercial insurance policy, which is what we're currently requiring. The underwriter that was doing that isn't offering it anymore. So their proposal is that they can use a $2 million umbrella policy underneath their homeowner's insurance to cover themselves.
I'm wondering if the umbrella policy would cover this. Does anybody ask the insurance company if they would actually, I mean, I can say I'm gonna put a $2 million umbrella on anything, but my umbrella policy only covers what happens on my property and not off-site. So I think that's the concern would be, you know, I mean, they can increase their umbrella policy, but if it doesn't do anything, it doesn't do the county any good.
What about,
Sorry, you're gonna get used to us throwing you all kinds of questions, Arnie. But
One thing we did verify is that they will not add Valley County as an additional insured on a homeowner's umbrella policy.
will you repeat that so it's on tape?
One thing we did verify is that the homeowner's policy will not add Valley County as an additional insured. So that, I interpret that as an indicator that policy covers what happens on the property, and I imagine the equipment that they own may have some coverage, but would be limited to what types of claims would be covered under a homeowner's insurance policy instead of a commercial liability policy.
But let's think about this a minute. I mean, this guy starts plowing and all these people that are gonna move in there, eventually I'm assuming there'll be a homeowners association. Now, I don't know if that's part of Ringgold's subdivision or not, but that group would qualify for an umbrella as a commercial homeowner.
They gotta hire a contractor to get exactly what Brian and Arnie are trying to explain to you. To get Valley County added to the insured,
Jeff, you're gonna have to again be on
you
tape.
gotta have that commercial.
You gotta have that commercial rating.
Right.
Well, I don't want to discourage private citizens from being able to do this because we're gonna see a lot more of that. And I think this is,
Well, that's what we're encouraging. you.
yeah, that's what we're encouraging.
Yeah.
Take care of your own problems, but I don't know how to handle the insurance part of it.
well, I mean, you have tons of guys out there, Morel, I can't even name all of them that do plowing everywhere. Now they've got policies, I'm sure, to cover them. You know, they're doing parking lots, Ridley's, churches, they're doing everything.
The problem
People's
is this
people's
guy-
personal properties. So why can't this guy get policy for him just to, do those roads? He might end up doing people's driveways too while he's doing it.
But they're a commercial entity. They have a business license.
Well, this guy needs
And
to
that's-
look at that then. I think he really needs to look at that to be able to grab a hold of an insurance policy that'll cover them and
Think
cover
outside the
us.
box for a minute. So if insurance is an issue, because we are trying to encourage people, you know, we're not going to plow all these roads. Somebody wants to live there full time, you know. I guess we have one that was snowmobiling in that I know of, but what about a bond? I mean, what kind of a bond would we have to have, Jeff? I mean, a $50,000 bond is cheap. Whether,
Probably all we'd need. I mean, you have to do a lot of damage to that road to get $50,000.
Oh, man.
I guess our liability though would be that if they hit a car, they hit somebody.
That's the
No.
big question, is if somebody runs into them, or if they run into somebody else, who's covering them on a public road?
Mhm.
There's the liability of the county right there.
And Arnie, you've got kind of a permit here already. I'm assuming this is our standard permit.
Would be this one. I attached it as a,
Yeah,
in the email I
yeah.
sent you. That's the standard one that Jeff uses.
Well, I think if we're concerned about the liability, he's gonna have to figure that issue out himself before he starts plowing. I plow across the county road every time I plow snow because I have a house on the other side of the road, so I'm going across the county. I mean, but I don't have to have insurance for that. I'm not plowing the road, but I'm going across it.
Is that an easement?
Yep.
You know, so there's,
Open up that can of worms.
that's what I'm saying.
Is that an easement though? It's your property. with an
It's an easement, yeah, it's an easement. But, you know, general liability, read this.
That makes sense. I mean, if this guy's gonna do that, he needs to call him contractor A and get something.
Right, form a business, put it together as a commercial business, and then he'll qualify for liability insurance.
I think he's gotta go through the state and apply for a contractor's license, I believe. Get that, I think that's the first.
And you gotta
step.
get a business number and all that stuff.
EIN, that's just standard.
But that opens up a whole nother conversation because once you have that, then you got work comp requirements.
You only have to have work comp if you have employees.
Right.
If he's just a normal guy, he doesn't have to have work comp.
Wonder if an HOA would do it. Because if you file an HOA in the state and then just apply underneath the HOA name, I mean, an HOA is not gonna have to have a business license, but I don't know if they could still get that commercial policy because it might require a business license. They may have to hire somebody also.
There's no, he told me there's nobody, everybody's booked down there in that Round Valley area for plowing that much snow, just not a driveway.
Right.
It'll take some time.
You've kinda got it covered on the general liability, Arnie, I think. Basically, in the permit process, it says he has to do this.
Right.
May be provided by a separate policy for contractor and for Valley County.
I think what he's asking is for a waiver of that.
Yeah,
Right, at the bottom of that page 3, it says such coverage may be provided as a separate policy for contractor and for Valley County, or by naming Valley County as an additional named insured. And that's one of the things they don't have, and they can't get that through a homeowner's policy.
I have to do an additional insured on my liability policy when I'm working on big job sites like Brundage and whatnot. Contractors ask me to do that. That goes through my, whatever my auto insurance is for additional insured. So if one of their vehicles, my vehicle's on site, gets ran into, and you know, it's not on them, it's my insurance to cover it. That's through the liability still.
So
Your-
what,
Well, it's my vehicle insurance is what I have to put them down as additional insured. The contractor, because my vehicle's on their site. Well, his vehicles are on county roads.
Same thing.
Same thing. Same thing.
what's our liability? My brain just is working weird, but what's the liability? So we tell somebody they can't live in their house year round because They can't get to it because the driveway's not plowed. Is there any responsibility? I mean, there's a number of
Well,
places
that's
we
why we-
don't plow. I mean, they have to hire somebody. And
That's why we declare these roads aren't maintained or plowed or whatever before these
Got it.
people build in there, so they know that up front.
That's right.
That reduces our liability, but I don't think we want to discourage. If people want to start plowing on a county road, we should let them do that. But they gotta do it legally with this permit, which requires the insurance. Now, if he can't figure out how to do it, he's gonna have to form a business and name himself and get an ID number, and then he'll qualify as a commercial business, and then he can get the insurance.
So one other thing the homeowner said is that his homeowner's insurance policy requires the fire department have access to his house, that they're able to get there to help put out a fire.
Makes sense.
So he's not able to, the fire department's not able to reach their house unless he goes ahead and gets this contractor, becomes a contractor and gets contractors or commercial insurance.
You know when this subdivision occurred? There should be
Long
something-
time ago,
long
long
time-
time ago.
So there's
And
nothing on the plat that says you are at risk.
then the guy, I think, went bankrupt on it.
I don't know.
Me, this is something that somebody like Wade or some of those guys would love to take on.
It's one of those ones
Busy.
that's so far out kind of by itself. It's gonna take them a long time to get from the other subdivision they do. I think as far south as they go is Herrick Hills. They don't go over the top and do anything down there.
Whole nother route, just for one house. That'd be real expensive for the guy.
Well, and hate to say it, but a pickup plow and a snow blower isn't gonna keep this road open certain winters. Not gonna work.
Then it becomes not our problem what he uses, but
Nope.
we need to figure out a way for him to get his license and whatever else to get that Accord or Safeco or
So what kind of a motion do you need from us to deny this or to make him go through the process and fill out the permit?
So the recommendation is that we approve the application, but require the snow plowing agreement. At the very
The permit,
bottom,
the permit.
Arnie gave us a recommendation. Second page.
But require a separate homeowner snow plowing agreement drafted by the roads department.
I mean, the discussion today, it seems like this is no longer appropriate. That the board is leaning towards just denying the application and
No, I don't think that's true. We're recommending that he go out and get the proper insurance requirements and get,
Just remind the board that we have negotiated agreements with private landowners. Dennett Mountain Ranch is a good example of the kind of agreement that we have negotiated for these kinds of situations where we have, in essence, an MOU. We have that already standard agreement in place, plus the construction and right-of-way permit is required as well as part of that. And in the Dennett Mountain Ranch agreement, we required insurance. And a number of other things. So
Right.
I
how are
think
they getting it?
pardon me,
How are they getting it?
they're hiring a contractor. And I think a couple of years ago, he was able to get a liability policy and did some of the work himself.
Mhm.
But the insurance industry is changing. I mean, I don't have any information to say yes or no, you can or can't get the appropriate policy or not. He claims he can't. But again, we're not necessarily proposing that you reinvent the wheel. It's just if we're going to plow roads, we're going to have requirements and establish here's what the standards are going to be. And we've already done that with No Business Road and Dennett Mountain Ranch.
So, you know, Brian, do we renew these every year or is this just roll over automatically?
Dennett is renewed annually.
Okay. And I'm assuming, Jeff, is there other smaller operators that do this with the county?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I got Yellow Pine, I got a guy back in Elk Creek that's doing
High Valley,
stuff back there, High Valley,
and they all have to have liability
they're
insurance.
all contractors.
Contractors, yeah.
Okay, so that's not that hard. I think this guy could become a contractor and get what we need.
And if he even has to get workers' comp, it's very minimal. Very minimal. It's all what the state will require.
Yeah, we have to keep it the same. We can't be doing one-offs for other people. I mean, it all needs to be the same for everybody. Jeff, are you annually getting their insurance? I mean, does Mickey go out and ask all those contractors that are on county roads to get their insurance?
If we don't get them automatically from them, we go after them.
Okay.
And I know who the contractors are that are doing this.
Okay.
Once again, they're bigger contractors, so they have their insurance company, Accord or whoever, send us the
And the
liability
policies.
certificate January 1st every year.
Okay, so then we can go ahead and approve this application. Plow, Price Loop, but he's just got to go through all the steps like everybody else.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
I would move that we approve the application, but require a separate homeowner snow plowing agreement, an MOU, drafted by the roads department that reiterates the indemnification and insurance requirements. The agreement should also have instructions on snow plowing procedures and snow storage requirements in order to avoid damages created by flooding from improper storage.
Same thing we have for Dan.
And you keep in mind that this area, like Jeff said earlier, is going to explode. There's going to be a lot more people. I know DF has talked about building a park there around Herrick Reservoir and working with Parks and Rec to build that. That's a huge possibility. So that eventually we're going to have to probably start thinking about taking this on to plow those roads back there. I don't know where we're going to get the money to do it. But that area is growing fast.
Seconded.
Okay, we got a motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good job, Arnie.
Okay, our next agenda item is, we're going to go into an executive session for 742061B to consider the evaluation of employees. So at this time, I will make the motion that we go into executive per Idaho Code 742061B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. By roll call, please.
Thompson, aye.
Pop and I.
Hasbrook, aye, and Doug, we will be in at 11:03.